everyone, and welcome to Live in the Solution. These are your readings for February the 26th through March the 4th. And first of all, I want to give a little astrological report on what's going on, because there's a lot going on this week. And I will put in the show more section below the timeline that you can skip the astrological report if you are checking out your sun, moon and rising, because these are for your sun, moon and rising also. Thank you guys for all the wonderful comments, for liking my videos, for sharing them, and for subscribing. And please, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I have also created a Patreon page, and if you would like to show a little love, you know, please patronize me on Patreon. People say, don't patronize me. Please patronize me. The link to Patreon is in the show more section below. I welcome constructive criticism. I just kind of did it today. It was, or yesterday, I should say. So I've kind of, you know, trying to get my head around all this technical stuff, and you know, it is what it is anyway. So I would really appreciate it if you check out my Patreon page. So without further ado, let's go to the astrological happenings and transits this week. Now we have on the 1st, we have a full moon in Virgo. Now Virgo is the opposite sign of Pisces, and Pisces is dreamy, watery, go with the flow, spiritual, yeah, whatever, you know. And Virgo is practical. It's an earth sign. It's, you know, a perfectionist, analytical, you know, has to get things right. Now, this is happening, I normally don't mention the degrees, but this is happening at 11 degrees and 22 minutes. 2 power numbers. So that's kind of exciting. So it means it's a very powerful full moon. We're going to feel kind of emotional and possibly self-critical or criticizing others. We need to be aware of this. We need to be aware of our internal dialogue. We need to be aware of how we need to be kind. So we've got to put kindness and compassion in front this week. And it's really important to keep our focus on what we have accomplished as opposed to what we haven't, and how we've done our best. And if we are going to criticize, we need to do it in constructive criticism. Like I take constructive criticism, I welcome it. I can have growth through constructive criticism. I don't take that personal, but when it's unkind, and of course, that hurts my feelings if it's unkind. So I'm very fortunate that I get lovely comments. Occasionally, I'll get one or two that are unkind, and I just send them off with love. Because what you put out, you know, you get back sometimes. So I have to be mindful to be constructively critical about myself, because we can also, when we're constructively critical with ourselves, it's kind of personal growth, isn't it? It's looking at where we need to improve. That's constructive criticism, but it's not, you know, like you're no good and you can't do this and why do you bother, and you know, you're useless, and you know, those kind of thoughts are not helpful. So we have to really be aware of our internal dialogue and how we're treating others. We all want to be treated with kindness and compassion, don't we? So that's what we need to do. We need to do with others. Now, at the time of this full moon, around the time of this full moon, we also have Mercury in a positive aspect to Jupiter, which means, you know, Mercury is about the intellect, Jupiter is about expansion. So it means, you know, brilliant ideas, innovative, creative ideas. And I always feel that we get that when we go inside and we meditate. So that's a brilliant, wonderful opportunity to meditate and get these wonderful, incredible, creative ideas and how to move forward with our lives. Now, we have, of course, we have the sun in Pisces. and right next to Neptune. And the sun is about identity. Neptune is about spirituality, angels, guides. It's a wonderful time to connect with your spirit guides and angels and really connect spiritually, and really identify what your belief system is. This is a wonderful time to explore that. Incredible creative meditations are possible at this time. Now, Mercury and Venus are conjunct with Jupiter in Scorpio, right? Mercury and Venus in Pisces are conjunct with Jupiter in Scorpio. So we've got Jupiter in play a lot. This is expansion. So it's very, very important to keep our thoughts and positive and optimistic, and because we can go down the spiral in the other way, right? Whatever we focus on expands at this time. So it's really, really important to really look at how we're thinking and what we're projecting out into the world. It's a wonderful time. That aspect creates this wonderful kind of spiritual conversations. It's about being receptive. It's feminine energy. It's receptivity and it's healing, deeply healing. So when we can have these philosophical, incredible spiritual conversations, and it's a very healing energy that's coming in. It's about having trust and faith in divine timing. It's about being patient, because we could have this tendency to be a little irritated next week. If we are aware of that, we can sit back, take a breath, and just, you don't know what someone else is going through. You don't know what feelings they're processing and so it's about being patient, it's about being kind, and it's about stepping back and being in Pisces energy. Okay, let's go with the flow. You don't have to beat the horn. You don't have to, shout at someone. You don't have to, put yourself in that anger. Now, Venus and Mercury connect with Chiron, right? And Chiron's the healing wound, the wounded healer, the healing wounded, the wounded healer. This is a perfect time for healing and personal growth, and it's a positive healing energy. So this week, I think, is a wonderful week when we're aware of the shadow side of things, so that we can keep it on the positive. We can, connect with other people and, have these wonderful conversations. We can meditate. We can work on it, healing our soul, healing our psyche, expansion, growth. Personal growth. This is a perfect week for personal growth. March has the energy of the number 5. Freedom, expansion, change, doing things differently, not wanting to be tied down, keep moving forward, keep it on the move, restlessness, right? So it's interesting that we have all these planetary aspects, this astrological change that's going on. So it really kind of goes with March, right? Okay, let's go to your cards, shall we? Hello, lovely Leo. Leo, my love. Okay, your first card that came up is the 7 of Wands, darling. This is about this is about telling your truth, and it's about standing up for your defending what you believe, right? But it's defend it definitely, but come from a higher ground. Do it diplomatically. Look, they're all coming at him and he's warding them off, but with that beautiful wand with flowers on it. So it's about being soft and kind. And so conflict, there's a possibility for conflict, definitely. And there's a possibility that we all may feel somewhat irritated, particularly in communication this week. So this is definitely saying soften the way you handle this situation. But it's kind of a challenge that's kind of a welcome challenge almost. It's not, it's not a big thing. But it could be like people at work or something, and it could be bickering, it could be a healthy kind of competition kind of thing. It's about coming in from the higher ground with the higher perspective, coming from a spiritual aspect, teamwork as well, but taking people's ideas and into consideration, but singing to your own tune, playing your own drum, but not at the expense of others, but taking everybody's information in. Maybe you've got a team of people at work that have all these ideas and you're like, initially like, that's a load of crap, right? This is saying, consider it. Be a team player, but don't compromise your values or your belief systems. So, when consider everybody, but when you're putting your point of view forward, do it with kindness and not condescending. Do it with, let people know that you value their ideas and their thoughts, and explain why you're doing it. It's about not being an authoritarian, but being a team member, and telling people how you value, letting people feel valued. I definitely think that, but don't succumb to the group and peer pressure. Now, this is. Look, you clarifying that is the 9 of autumn, and this is about, working very, very hard and reward yourself. This is about taking time for yourself, and I really believe that sometimes when we retreat from everyone, and I think we all need that alone time, for quiet in our mind. This is definitely abundance. Look at that. Abundance. This is like hard work is paying off, and sometimes this can mean like a self-employed person who works for themselves. That things are paying off. Or if you're in a job, it's really a job where you feel appreciated and you've worked really hard. And if you don't feel appreciated, you have to make yourself feel appreciated. And, pamper yourself. Do something wonderful for yourself. Now, the next card that comes up is the 5 of Pentacles, darling. This is about being in fear. This is a fear of not having enough. And this is an illusion. So this is almost like you're getting paid, but you're worried about losing your job. And I always say, listen, the future is fantasy. It's such a waste of any what if, right? What if the worst case scenario? And you have to look, there's like a spring flower here. So that's hope. Hope springs eternal, right? So it's very important to come out of this. This is about, and it's also focusing on what you don't have or what you possibly might not have. It's like not believing that your finances are going to be replenished. It's believing that you have a finite amount of abundance. And abundance comes in many forms. So when this comes up, it's saying, focus on that which you have. Be in gratitude for what you have. The more grateful you are, the more you will attract things to be grateful for. And I can't stress how important it is. Jupiter is playing a major role this week. And we have, Virgo in play, so we have to be careful about being overcritical for ourselves, overcritical for other people, critical about what we've done, where we've come from, what we need to do. Self-criticism. We've got to really be careful not to be in this energy. Focus on what you have and not what you haven't. And clarifying it is the Ace of Spring, darling. This is like spring into action. This is being assertive. Things are looking up, but you have to be assertive, right? You've got to go out there and take the action, right? So this, but along with that, right next to it came balance, which is temperance in the other card. Look at that big lion right there. This is about, yes, working hard. You've got to have balance in your life. This is about balancing. Maybe you've been working extra hours, some of you. You know, this is a general reading, so maybe some of you have been working very hard and not having any fun and so afraid of losing your position. I remember having a job years ago and putting all this extra work in, you know, and because I wanted to really please I mean, when I think about it, it was many, many years ago. It's not like that now. But I was in fear of losing this job. So I just did everything and I compromised my own values by doing that, you know, and I was talking to a friend the other day and saying, you know, they'd give me a compliment and I'd be like, oh yeah, you don't have to pay me extra money. The compliment will do. No, it's not what it's about, guys. You need to get paid. There's a balance here. I always say, look, this can be, and actually when this came up, I thought of addiction for some reason. So we can have a tendency to overspend, to maybe overdrink, to do something. And this card is, the mantra for this card is everything in moderation. I'm definitely getting that, but definitely take action on some things. It's like get up and do something. You come out of the fear. This is about not being afraid to take action and to be assertive and to take the opportunities that are before you. If you're in this in fear, you're not going to see the opportunities. So you have to remember it's about balance and come out of this fear. And look, some of you are saying, oh, it's easy for you to say, no, I've been in this fear. I know what that's like. I've been there. But when you start to focus on the things that you have, you raise your vibration is what you do. This is a lower vibration. When you look around you and you might say, look, I've this tiny little, I'm so grateful that I have that. If I focus on that and say, I'm so grateful that I have it, to me, it's like a precious stone, right? It's like a beautiful, precious stone. And to me, it's like abundance. It's like I've got a chest of jewels, right? And it's all, life is a perception, guys. Perceive your life to be a blessing and it will be filled with blessings. Don't focus on what you haven't got. Focus on what you have and look around. The opportunities are there every day. We just have to jump on them and take them. It's about taking action. It really is. Now, look, you've got the 8 of Cups, which is, you know, being discontented with your life. I feel that some of you are a little discontented. You're like, I always sing this when it comes up. I'm sorry, but I do. Is that all there is, my friend? Well, let's keep dancing. Let's pull out the booze and have a ball. Don't pull that booze out at all. Everything in moderation, guys. This is like, you know, lamenting about the life you don't have and you feel like you want something a little more meaningful. Yes, we all want something a little more meaningful. I get that. But look, she's looking out at the stars and the moon and crying and, you know, not feeling contented. And look, she's got these beautiful 8 cups there. She's got what she thinks she doesn't have. She really doesn't understand that she has it already. And it's just about your perception. And clarifying that is the Queen of Summer. Listen to your heart, darling. This is the Queen of Summer. This is emotional. This is also about, listen, when I always say when the Queen comes in, and I'm getting that here, darling, the Queen, look, this is this one too, right? The Queen is like working too hard and not helping everyone else and not helping yourself. This is a time you need to really pamper yourself. And maybe you're not pampering yourself because you're scared about not having enough money. This is And money's energy, darling. Abundance comes in many forms, Pampering yourself can mean just going by the water and stepping out and looking at it and enjoying that moment. It can be going for a massage. It can be doing something luxurious and manicure, pedicure. Sometimes those little things make you feel luxurious and make you feel pampered and make you feel grateful, And sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference. Leo, thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah! I love and I appreciate you all. I'll see you next week. To inquire about or purchase any of Mary's services, please email Mary at liveinthesolution.com.